All right, we're going.
You're going? Oh, well, Gene, wait a second. As you know, as long as we've been working together, one thing I do not like to do is appear in public without a hat on my head.
Okay, so you want to put a hat on?
I've got a couple of them here. I want you to help me choose between them, okay?
All right.
We have the standard Ivor Keep clam hat.
Yeah, Ivors. Hold on.
I might have worked.
Let's do a zoom in on Ivors. Yeah, got it.
Or I'll take that one off now. And then we've got this beanie, or what is this? This is sort of Moorish, isn't it?
It is. It has a Moorish element to it.
Which one do you think I should wear?
You know, I guess I would prefer, since we're beyond the freeway, I'd say that below the freeway, the Ivar's hat might be appropriate because we're close to the waterfront and its source. But above the freeway, I think I prefer the wisdom of the Mahout.
You know, that is a brilliant choice, and we are actually above the freeway, as you said. We're really on top of the freeway because we're in Freeway Park, next to the convention center, both of which were built over the freeway in the 80s, right?
They were indeed.
And they had a profound effect on the environment for the prospect of our article this week, the roof on which you stood, which is the Cambridge Apartments, which are where?
Well, the Cambridge Apartments are, yes, and I'll insert a quick shot of the Cambridge.
Can you do that?
Yeah, I can.
We can see right the point up here, from this point, we can see the point where you stood to take the now shot, although you can't see it through the trees from this prospect so well, but that's where you stood. And that, when I looked at the picture that you took from that point, I was enthralled by it, as I sort of hopefully reveal in my writing. Because, gosh, it really redeemed the convention center. It mixed the greenery of the park with the green glass of this stepped, terraced convention center as it appears on its south facade, and very successfully. And that view from there on top of the Cambridge is thrilling, downright thrilling. And I think the readers of the articles will agree. It's too bad when people go to the convention center, they just can't go up to the roof of the Cambridge first and look back down on it.
Well, the original photographer went up to that rooftop the year the Cambridge was built, as photographers often were wont to do, climbing to the highest structure nearby and taking a picture. And so this was another example of, and I think we have several from Smith Tower in which photographers went up even before it was finished and took pictures looking off all around the city. But this is one of those classic examples of going to the highest point that you can find, that they could find in 1923, and looking down off the rooftop. And as you point out in the article, it looks down on a couple of structures which disappear behind that glass wall and beneath that glass wall. One of them, of course, being the
Dreamland.
Dreamland,
which is the predecessor of the Eagles.
Of the Eagles.
And Act Theater.
Right, and so we are actually just above and kitty corner to Act Theater. So, which, incidentally, you once produced concerts in Eagles Auditorium.
Well, I was part of the overall cooperative structure, the OCS, and we did do concerts, that's right, on the stage at Eagles Auditorium. We did the first psychedelic light show dance series there until we got exhausted by it and chose not to continue. That's when Boyd Grafmeyer took it over. He was sort of helping as a volunteer before that.
The first actual concert I went to, I was 10 years old, and I saw James Cotton in Eagles Auditorium in 1967, and it was absolutely wonderful. But what impressed me as much as the blues player, yes,
the light show
with the bubble dancers, yes, was very impressive.
But we're surrounded by culture here tremendously. I mean, the town hall is just up here a couple of blocks. The ramp on 8th Avenue goes right through all of this. We can't see it from this spot, but it's right near here. First Hill is up there, all the culture of First Hill. And this is significantly the point where the freeway from Seneca begins. It starts to make its turn to go a little bit to the northeast so that it can go parallel with the ridge as it continues north from First Hill there to Capitol Hill there. And there really aren't two hills, are they? They're a ridge. There is a slight depression between them, and it's called Pike Street. And Pike Street was really the sensible place to really develop the first street up to the ridge from the future retail district for a variety of reasons. Actually, we get into that, I think, very soon, and another one of these things coming up when we go to Terry and Union Street, which is right up there. We're going to do another one in 2 weeks, maybe next week. We'll be right up there in those trees behind that modern apartment house. I wish we could go up beyond the roof together right now.
Why can't we go on the roof together?
Well, you can go up there and I'll look at you. You know, I think that was just marvelous. And as we write in that article, that's one of the 2 times that you appear in a photograph that you've taken for this Now and Then series. And the reason is it's your shadow. It just sticks out like a little burr on a steel plate. Gosh knows you're as strong as a bird.
Okay, so what was the other time I appear in a photo?
The other time was downtown when we were doing the story about the, what's the name? The Golden Rule. The Golden Rule House. You were down there, and the Now shot repeating the space where the photographer's studio was. That was the advertising card for the Golden Rule Bazaar. When you took a picture of that, you're reflected in the window. Do you remember that?
I do. In fact, that column appeared on April Fool's Day.
How do you remember things like that?
I remember that because I was aiming.
Wonderful.
I was aiming for an April Fool's Day column, and that was
You were the April.
And I was the April Fool.
Here we're still inside now, of course, the convention center underneath the green roofs and by the green walls, looking now due west down Union Street. We move very close to Eagles Auditorium, where the old Dreamland was, or now it was the 7th Avenue right down here, 7th and Union. And this is one of the great, splendid examples of terracotta clad architecture that was put up here in the 20s. That opened in 25. You know, they had the picture from the top of the Claremont is 23. It shows the Dreamland, and then this took its place and they opened it in 25. And look at how the shadows have worked so wonderfully against the articulated terracotta tiles that make the quality of the facade. So again, this is a unique spot in this, where the junction between First Hill and Capitol Hill. It's where the whole traffic system, like the freeway is the most obvious example of it, takes its slow turn more to the northeast to continue on below Capitol Hill. And it's here, actually, of all the spots in Seattle, this one right here is, when I just try to think about it, where I am and where to go, this perhaps confuses me more than anything. Because of that turn and because of the park, and the oddity, the irregularity of many of the buildings, the triangular shapes of them. This is a wonderful, imaginative part of Seattle.